Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person roguelike featuring but not limited to weaponized garbage, totally missable lore, and that classic roguelike goal to become a stimulant-fueled demigod of death. I am using the DLC in this video, by the way. We have a roster of 14 characters to choose from. Commando shoots gun, fast and often, in several flavors. Huntress has aimbot, fast and ricochets a laser glaive. Quite effective. Bandit, your stealth character, who naturally has a quad barrel shotgun, as many sneakers do, resetting your cooldowns using the old 6-shooter to fly and critting from behind. Multi has the tool for any job. If the job needs a barn nailed to another barn in 1 second flat. Also carries 2 equipment items. Engineer, quirky, loves questionable items, and so do his turrets, the ultimate point defense. Artificier, basically a mage, nukes enemies and bosses in 1 second flat and flies around the sky. Rex, basically a potted plant who uses health for abilities and heals himself vigorously. Mercenary, fast katana-wielding maniac. If you have the misfortune of knowing League of Legends, he is basically Airborne Master Yi, cooldown reductions and all. Loader, Spider-Man if he used metal fists to liquefy his opponents instead of just embarrassing them in front of cops.
Sleep it off.
Moves at supersonic speeds and is also very satisfying to play. Acrid, does percent health damage with his poison, which he just wants to get all over the damn place. Cheesable and very strong. Captain, no movement abilities. Deletes projectiles out of the air, and I'll let this speak for itself. Railgunner, crits and immolates everything with a freaking railgun. DLC characters got to be overpowered. And Void Fiend, twitchy mess, delicately balancing HP and Saiyan mode, melting everything around him. So why are you here? Way back in Risk of Rain 1, a cargo space train, known as the UES Contact Light, gets smashed out of orbit and crash lands on a strange planet called Petrichor 5. Now a new ship called the UES Safe Travels has come to look for any survivors. I'm sure that many normal players haven't even watched the opening cinematic, and have no idea what is going on story-wise. I'll eventually get into that in a bit. So we leave our drop pod and proceed through the game, collecting fallen cargo from the UES Contact Light and using the valuable items to become powerful enough to fight off the planet's alien creatures. We progress through the teleporters, each starting a boss fight, eventually unlocking other items and survivors to play as, and eventually making it to Petrichor's moon, Commencement, where a final boss battle takes place, and we escape via a surviving ship landed there. That is the basic gameplay loop, but that isn't all. There are alternate paths and game modes to take and to play. Maybe loop your run indefinitely and just keep going. Maybe you take a blue portal to see a friendly newt man who sells you illegal contraband and an entire person. Maybe jump down and find this portal surrounded by dead weird crustaceans. Who knows what silly things are in there. There are secrets and mysteries to explore. Anywho, let's talk about items. You open up a crate and find a ukulele and stick it on your back. And his music was electric. This naturally causes your bullets to chain electrical arcs between enemies. But most items aren't so vague. Items come in color groups. White are common, green slightly less so, and red are crazy game changers and very rare. Like spare drone parts, for example, which if you have a handful of drones, takes them from being distractions to being the main characters. There are also orange active items you can only hold one of. But I only really care about the executive card and the recycler, which let you get more items or reroll items respectively. The Binding of Isaac has given me a compulsive need to min-max and rig everything. It's taken over every aspect of my life. I've been re-rolling my DNA for weeks now, and I'm happy to say that I can now see infrared and ultraviolet as of Thursday. Time to stop goofing off and subscribe to me. I intend to expand your horizons on actually good games. Anyways, all of these items fell to the planet when the UES contact light was destroyed in orbit. Or you can find a yellow item which is basically harvested from a boss kill, like Shatterspleen, my beloved. How about a sketchy blue item, which boasts a powerful boon and an almost equally crippling negative? And lastly, void items, which are corrupted versions of regular ones, and corrupt all of its type. The game is pretty hard. Enemies scale in difficulty over time, so easy, normal, hard turns into this. At the beginning of a run, we can pick any difficulty: drizzle, rainstorm, monsoon, get it? Risk of rain. All my footage shown is from the Eclipse alternate mode, which is monsoon with added challenges each win. It's exactly like Ascension level from Slay the Spire, for reference. But how can I win such a challenge? A powerful build. Let me learn you something. Every ability or damaging item in the game has something called a proc coefficient. No. This isn't boring, I swear. Abilities have a proc coefficient between 1 and 0, usually, except Railgunner, who has a 1.5 and a 3 coefficient on her R abilities. So Tri-Tip Dagger, which states that it has a 10% chance of bleeding, is actually 10% times the proc coefficient of the ability. So Rex's Inject ability, which has a coefficient of 0.5, means that instead of needing 10 Tri-Tip Daggers for a 100% bleed chance, it's actually 20 daggers on this particular ability. But there is something else called a proc chain. Let's say you have ATG Missile, Capacitor, and both bands. You fire Capacitor for 1000% of your damage stat. It procs Missile for 1000 times 3, 3000% damage, and that procs the bands for 550% times 3000% damage, dealing a whopping 16,500% damage when the bands fire. This chain has a low chance to happen, but with enough items proccing constantly, it becomes inevitably common for something like this to occur. And if you add something like a 57-leaf clover, which rerolls all random chances twice and takes the good outcome, you can really get out of control. P.S. Nothing can proc more than one time in the chain, so they are always chains and never loops. So now you know how to generally become more powerful. Let's take a look at a few nice runs. How about this synergy? Soulbound Catalyst reduces your equipment cooldown on kill, and Forgive Me Please procs your on-kill effects. Throw in a Tome, which gives money on kill, Necklace, which gives healing orbs on kill, Resonance Disc, which needs kills to charge itself, Brooches, which shield you on kill, and Gasoline, which sets fires on kill. Now it does everything and generates infinite money, while resetting its own cooldown. And I still cheese the boss fight, naturally. How about this Rex run? The character that spends health on abilities and heals himself, but I have Corpse Bloom, which caps healing instances to 10% HP, but doubles it over time, and Rejuverac, which doubles all healing after the fact. So the heal pooled is 3 times now, and 10% cap is now 20%, so I'm healing constantly. But this is kind of bad on Rex. There's probably so much unused healing stored in Corpse Bloom that I could leave the game open for 10 hours and still be healing over time. You have to charge 4 pillars of either Mass, Soul, Design, or Blood to activate the launchers to Mithrix's arena, but you can totally find other ways not to bother. We do all this and it's super fun, but why? Who is Mithrix? What about the first game? What is the Void? If you are a normal player, you have no idea what is going on. No way I can cover everything, but here we go. Broadish strokes. Let me explain. Mithrix and Providence from the first game are some sort of higher beings or gods, and their brothers, stranded on this planet of Petrichor 5. Mithrix learns to design, and Providence learns he has the ability to create. They create using the 4 elements discovered by Mithrix: design, soul, blood, and mass. Mithrix loves design, and Providence loves soul. The brothers make together guardians, but Providence is unfulfilled by these things. They lack soul, they are not truly living, and Providence loves soul. So he modified Mithrix's design to add more soul, creating Aurelianite, but Mithrix disapproves, stating that this guardian is unstable, it has the capacity to betray them, and it is not loyal. He imprisons Aurelianite in a pocket dimension and chastises his brother, stating that he himself will oversee the designing and creating from now on. They will be weaker, but they will be loyal. Hey, pay attention. Okay, let's do some anagrams. Risk of Iran. Fork in a IRS. Fair or skin. Anyways, they create, eventually, the teleporters or gates that we see all over the place. Mithrix realizes that they can save their other kin, other higher beings using these teleporters. They can do anything. So, they take the primordial teleporter, set it to commencement, Petrichor 5's moon, and prepare to test it. Providence insists that Mithrix goes in first, but when he does, the gate is locked and misaligned behind him, so Mithrix is stranded. In his brother's absence, Providence begins to build a utopia. He uses the teleporters to get other doomed creatures to Petrichor 5 and becomes known as the bulwark of the weak, loved by his subjects and honored by them. But Mithrix is furious, his legacy tarnished and his designs wasted on lesser species who would destroy themselves anyways. It's like if your brother liked little bugs and rats so much that he marooned you on a desert island just so he could turn your house into a wildlife sanctuary in your absence. So Mithrix creates the powerful but flawed in their creation lunar items to coerce the inhabitants to join him, to communicate with him. But Providence, in his anxiousness, is having none of it and will kill anyone with these items immediately, except for one who made it pretty far but was way too dumb to free Mithrix, unfortunately. And then one day, a transport ship named the UES Contact Light, carrying a teleporter that was left on Saturn by Providence after saving all the bighorn bison from that planet. It was confoundingly taken off course close to Petrichor 5, where Providence used the teleporter to get on board and crashed the ship, seeing humanity as a threat, and spilling its cargo and any survivors upon the planet. So the commando survived and pressed on to kill Providence and escape the planet. P.S. This commando is not the same one as the second game. The only returning character is Acrid. Now, in Risk of Rain 2, another ship named the UES Safe Travels has taken up a mission to rescue any survivors and cargo they can obtain. But upon dropping to the planet, the fauna is just as hostile, and eventually one survivor makes it to the primordial teleporter, and with Providence dead, it can be aligned with the moon. And we find Mithrix there, where he is killed by the survivor, with the help of any cargo found along the way. Just then, as his influence breaks and his prison falls apart, creatures from the void, time cops who detain and store everything and anything as data, see their chance to detain Petrichor 5's powerful machinations and the survivor, now God-killer, as well. Then, as we escape, the entire planet is detained to await its sentence at the end of time. The cells were for dangerous creatures, The cells were for rare, powerful relics of exponential strength. The cells were for ancient automata of war. The cells were for scientists and inventors and explorers. The cells were for gods. The cells were for everything. If you still have questions, leave a comment. I've done a lot of research. Or feel free to watch a dedicated lore video somewhere else. I must mention the game's music. It's been going on this whole video. It's really good. Have a listen. Fun fact, this is kind of a cover of Purple Rain by Prince, who later renamed himself the artist formerly known as Prince. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it a lot. And feel free to share this video, leave a like, leave a comment explaining any game you'd like to see me cover. And I do respond to every comment, as long as it merits one. We also have the second DLC to look forward to, which is coming soon.